I've been waking up pretty early for the past few months. There's nothing better than getting started right away with my day, especially when there's lots to do. I've been using the iPhone 15 Pro Max for the past few weeks now, and overall, it has definitely lived up to the hype. But today, we'll really be pushing it. This is a day in the life with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I like to start out most mornings making a simple checklist of all the things I have to do, and with iOS 17's interactive widgets, it makes adding and checking things off pretty easy. I like this feature. The first thing on the list today, we're picking up our car for the rest of the week. This is the Mercedes-AMG EQE, one of Mercedes' new electric car models, and this car looks and feels like the future. It's also crazy fast. Okay, this thing is pretty nice. Let's get going. It's a beautiful morning, perfect for our first shoot of the day. I met up with the boys at a local coffee shop, and after a bit of planning, we headed out to our first stop. This thing is the Sherp ATV. About 2 years ago I connected with the owner of the vehicle to work on a shoot, but nothing really happened. Today, 2 years later, it's all becoming a reality. We spoke with David about his vehicle and our plans for the shoot, and then it was time to hit the streets. And David has his vehicle for doing tours, driving around Ontario, and he also has some big plans as well, and you can follow his Instagram at the link in the description. But first, a quick stop for a little breakfast. Can I get The interesting thing about the Sherp ATV is that it really is all-terrain. Pavement, sand, mud, ice, snow, and even water. We glided through the water, snapping photos and taking in the scenery a bit further outside of the city. And we weren't the only ones taking photos of the Sherp, because it really is a sight to behold.
What do you think, boss?
This is the craziest thing I've ever done. This is insane. This is a dream. This is huge.
The shoot was incredibly fun and we got some killer shots, and honestly it was just a great time with the boys. After we got all the shots we needed, my battery was at 80%. We got back to land, said peace to David, and headed back downtown. Once we got back downtown, we were feeling pretty hungry, so we stopped at our local mushroom and truffle dealer, picked up a few things, and headed to get a couple slices at probably my favorite pizza spot in the city. If you know, you know. After that, we all parted ways, and I'll see the boys a bit later today. My next meeting of the day is with my friend Nick, who runs collectingapple.com. He has some of the craziest vintage Apple merch from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. From t-shirts to sweaters to jackets and so much more. Apple used to make some incredible pieces of clothing and accessories too, and he honestly has it all. Nick also had a bit of a surprise to show me, this special pair of 1985 Jordans that he found recently in pretty good condition considering how old they are. And honestly, it was just a real honor to see and hold these in person. I also wanted to get a bunch of photos of the clothing for Nick's catalog, so I tossed the phone on my tripod and grabbed a bunch of simple shots of each of the different pieces, front and back.
This thing is toasty. It's so hot. Hopefully, there's no issues.
Once we were done, Nick invited me over to his shop to check out some of the other vintage pieces he has, and there's definitely quite a collection. I didn't grab anything today, but I'll definitely be back pretty soon. It was one of my scheduled times to feed my cat Duster, and I mapped the action button on my phone to a variety of shortcuts and applications with this shortcuts menu folder. I'm still a bit iffy on the action button, but this is a nice way to use it. At this point in the day, around 2 o'clock, my battery is at 56%, and that's not bad, but time to start conserving a little bit. I got a call from my friend Adam, who just confirmed our next shoot of the day is on. Adam is the owner of one of the most incredible houses and even just spaces I've ever seen. He's had this place for a few years, and the actual building itself is from the 80s and designed by the iconic Italian-Canadian designers, the Piccaluga brothers, who've designed many beautiful buildings and homes throughout Toronto, as well as the original interior of the CN Tower. Adam invited me to his home to document and highlight the space through photos and videos before renovations take place. With all the natural light and the clean color palette throughout, the space photographed beautifully, and the iPhone did an incredible job in all the lighting conditions and rooms. By the end of the shoot, my battery was at 38%, and it was time to head out. On my way home, I stopped at a few grocery stores to pick up a few things, as well as hit a clothing store to grab a jacket and some new pants. It's fall after all. After getting home, I needed a bit of time to relax before I head out for my last stop of the night. It's been a long day of running around going place to place. I put on some music and checked off a few things on my reminders list. I also got down to some of the emails I've been putting off, and then decided to check out some of the photos from the day and make a few edits. With USB-C finally on the iPhone, and the ability to actually have fast transfer speeds on the Pro models, it makes transferring clips and photos ridiculously fast and easy. Like, I've been very surprised. I'll link the cable that I use in the description. I'm pretty happy with how these photos turned out, and I'll finish the job later. After changing to something a bit more dressy for the evening, it was time to head out. I'm meeting up with my friends for a special birthday celebration, and there's no better place than this one. And I was told I have to gatekeep this one, so I'm sorry. A lot of the food here is made tableside, and it's very much a big performance. And with decor like this and an expansive menu, it's always a treat. This is the best Caesar salad I've ever eaten. It looks simple, but trust me, it's incredible. Everyone else got some pretty big dishes, but for me, I kept it nice and light. And finally, it was time to head home. I've been out all day, and there's nothing I've been looking forward to more than just finally going to sleep. My battery lasted pretty much all day, but now it's extremely low. So I tossed on the MagSafe charger, hit the lights, and it was time to go to sleep. Good night, and thank you for watching.